Welcome. This is The Relation Shop. I'm Toya, and I have Eric and Jason in here today, and we are ready to get into it.
It is the month of love.
Love.
Yes.
And most people think about their dates and,
so
finding
romantic.
sexy things and chocolates and all of that. I mean,
Sexy
Sounds like a lot of money.
I know, right?
Things.
Whether it be lingerie or
things.
clothes for date nights or things like that. But I mean,
Does Mod wear that in the kitchen?
no.
No.
He
No,
does.
no,
If he gets
no.
a slap and a squeeze.
Slap and a squeeze.
When he gets a slap and a squeeze, that comes
When he's cooking?
like
Cleaning? What?
when his hair is fresh, he has like a fresh cut. His face is looking good.
Man.
He has a nice outfit on.
You sound a little high maintenance. I
know.
mean, he's got to be all put
He's gotta
together
jump
before
through
But
all
that's
the
how he
flustered
is all the
days.
time.
I don't know.
Man.
That's how he is.
She's like, that's not all the time, guys. It's only when his cut is fresh, his face
But
looks
he-
good.
Right.
His
You know what?
outfit
Exactly.
is-
It did
is
come
like
out that way.
smooth.
Your
It
hair's too
did.
long.
But he
I'm
looks
sorry.
good all the time to me. So it's not that big of a deal.
You go from like ridiculous expectations to like over exaggerated. He's made everything all the time.
Okay.
Come on, let's be. You know what?
So-
Let's bring us back down to ground, Jason.
All right, let's do it.
This because Toya lives in La La Land over
you
here.
know.
The land
Man,
of
oh my
love
goodness.
is Toya over here.
I don't know. I think Lisa probably looks at you that way because she slaps you. So she's looking at you every day like, look at.
She slapped me.
Not in the face.
I
Not
don't
in the
know.
face.
Yeah.
On the behind.
I don't-
But she's probably
really?
looking at
You know
you
that.
because he said it. He said
No,
that
he
she
didn't.
does.
No, she doesn't
he
even look
didn't.
at me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
She
won't even
Yeah.
make eye contact with him.
No.
Like, I've seen it. He's
She
like,
looks
"Hey,
at him
babe,"
and she's
she
like,
act
man, my
"Ah,
man
yeah."
is looking good. That's my man.
You know, I don't know. I have never asked her.
You should ask her.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want
Okay,
to
well,
know.
listen to
I don't
this.
wanna know.
Okay,
on the show.
How about this?
She might say she does if I get my hair cut and I take a shower or whatever you
And
make
your
a mod
face
do.
looks
My
great.
face
and
looks great.
your outfit,
Yeah, right.
The drip.
I wear the
is
blue
smooth,
shirt like I
yeah.
wore
Okay.
last show.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
So when y'all are out, like, I don't know, at some event or just something where there's a lot of people and your wife is on the other side of the room, do you sometimes look at her and be like, that's mine? Ooh, she look good.
I don't know if I use those words.
Well, you're right. I mean,
She looks good. So is the question, do I still think my wife looks good? Yes.
See?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you kind of ruined it for me a little bit.
How?
Because now I'm going to
She
look
ruins
across the
everything,
room
yeah.
and the Toya voice in my head is, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
She look good.
fine.
That's my woman.
Fine. Yeah, I guess we're not as territorial as Toya, so we
Right.
don't think possessive.
No,
Yes.
but I like seeing him on the other side,
Yeah.
like taking care of business, talking to people. And I'm like, oh, look at him.
Yeah, oh, yes. In my way, I do that.
In your way.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't
So,
know. You know what? When I get home today, I'm gonna ask Jill about that. But I think she's gonna. I think it's not gonna go well.
Yeah, you might
because
not
I think
wanna
I'm
know
gonna
that.
ask that, and I think I'm gonna get some smart answer.
No,
back.
no,
and
no,
then
no.
I'm gonna feel guilty. I'm gonna feel bad, rejected. And you know what? I'd rather just avoid that and believe
no,
the best.
I do remember something.
There you go.
I remember Jill taking a picture of you one time when you were on stage. She was like, look at my man.
Yeah.
So okay, so no, I would go to that. I think if I'm doing the things that I'm gifted to do that she likes to do, because
There you go.
that's when she fell in love. I was on the soccer field with my South American European soccer mullet in the early 90s,
Mullet.
and as I was running, it was like Baywatch for her. It was like slow motion,
motion.
and the mullet was like in the wind, and she was
Yeah.
like, "That's what I'm talking about." So I think
She read too many
I would
romance
agree with
novels.
you when there's certain moments where I'm doing, because she did mention that at one of our retreats in October, where she's like, when I see you doing what you're called to do, like that's cool. So I don't know
Yeah.
if she'd be like, that's my man, I got that, because she's not you, but I think she might go, oh, okay, I like that.
you look good.
That's
There you
better
go.
than regular at home Eric. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
that's all I'm saying.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
In a lot of
So
words.
you're over the top. That's fine. But I'm glad that you look at mod. But here's what we want to talk about today. Since it is the month of love,
Yeah.
I really want to talk about the science of love.
Ooh,
Yeah.
science.
Yeah.
I
like
believe in
Nacho Libre.
science.
You know I believe in science. Yeah. So you
still
still
need to
have
see
not
that
watched
movie.
that. Yeah.
You gotta see that movie.
Still haven't seen it.
We've
Yeah.
determined that you're going to need to watch that so you can
Okay.
be on our inside jokes.
Right.
It's not on any of my free apps. Like it's not on Netflix. It's not on
one of the greatest movies ever. It's not going to be free. You
Yeah.
gotta
It's not
pay
on
that
Amazon. It's not on Hulu.
Okay. You know what? I'll lend you $5 if you need to rent it on whatever device you might have. But
Right.
so here's the deal. I think sometimes we paint love as this mysterious,
Right.
chemical driven, spontaneous, organic. You just feel it or you don't.
Right.
But according to I would call, he's a psychologist, John Gottman, right? Which is like one of the premier relationship guys.
I thought he was mafia.
I almost call him, he's
Gottman.
almost like the professor, or he's like the mad scientist of love. They had the love lab,
Right.
that he did for decades upon decades. We brought couples in, hooked them. I mean, you're talking about hooked them up to stuff
Really?
that measured their heart rates. He watched. That's why he, at the end of it,
Sounds so romantic.
I know, but again, at the end of it, he wanted to figure out why some couples succeed and some couples fail. And with 85% accuracy, he could watch a couple having an argument, and they had videos, they had them hooked up to stuff to monitor their heart. With 85% accuracy, based on 5 minutes of them interacting, could predict whether they would stay together or divorce 5 years later.
Wow.
Where they were at. Yeah.
Oh.
So my point is, dude, know some stuff.
You're right.
And it's not
Okay.
just all this fluffy, like, you get me, you complete me, you're my man, stuff that certain people would attribute to. And there's actually a science behind it. So I'm going to give you, he calls this the magic trio.
All right.
So I want to talk about these 3 things in the trio, and then we can debate and see. So I'm going to give you all 3 of them, and then we'll go back through them.
All right.
And then I know Toya, because Toya was just telling me when we came in here how they had a little small group, and they broke down like the Old Testament covenant and all this stuff. So I know Toya is in here like,
She got
on
some
Bible high.
She got some word.
Yeah, so I'm expecting a little word.
Gotcha.
So we'll see how the science of love matches up with what God says.
All right,
love.
this will be fun.
Is that what we're trying
Let's
to do?
go.
Okay,
Let's
here's the 3. Here's the magic.
She ready.
Here's the magic trio.
Let's go.
Here's this is a little bit of an unfair matchup.
Okay.
Because like I've got John Gottman and she's got like God and the Holy Spirit.
Right.
But I think I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
Let's see.
All right.
Yeah, but God and the Holy Spirit has to go through her.
So it gets dumbed down.
Could be.
Right?
Could
and
be.
then me and Gottman as a duo is pretty
Did that come out
formidable.
wrong? I didn't mean for that to come out wrong.
Whatever, Jason. Let's go.
All right, here's the magic trio
Yes.
for the science of love. For successful couples seem to have these 3 attributes. Number 1 is physiological calm, and we'll talk about that, but is a relationship calm. Number 2 is trust, and number 3 is commitment. Those 3 things operating in a relationship create the science of love.
Physiological calm.
So we'll start there. Physiological calm is just a couple's ability to have an atmosphere, climate, environment, whatever you call it, of calm in the relationship, where they're not driven and governed by emotions up and down. It's not volatile. Where you feel
this
like
is your couple that doesn't. We're not talking about people who have fights every now and then. We're talking about the whole environment all the time is just.
I mean, and there's probably in between. So we're not talking about no fights, and we're not talking about only if you fight all the time.
Yeah.
We're talking about, and those listening would know, like you know where you're at. If I said to you, do you feel like when you get home and you walk into the house, you're walking into a place of peace, calm, warmth, not because you're avoiding stuff.
Right.
But because you can actually talk about stuff in a healthy manner. You can resolve conflict in a mostly healthy way, where it's not this. Because a lot of couples are just, I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
Because I know if I say something, they're going to get defensive and it's not going to go well. That would not qualify. I think the old relationship ratio of 5-to-1 positive to negative interactions that a lot of experts say is necessary for healthy relationships. That would be a part of it.
So in my first marriage,
Okay.
So there wasn't a lot of, because I'm a calm person, so there wasn't a lot of loud, so the environment would have looked as calm, but there were certain things I just did not discuss or didn't say, which would be deceptive, whatever.
Well, no,
because I knew that was going to be like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
so that's what you're talking about. That kind of
so
stuff.
that would be like pseudo calm because all you're doing is avoiding the issues that you know will skyrocket. That would not be healthy calm. That would be, we're not talking about stuff just so we can keep the peace.
Okay.
So I don't think So gentle, not hostile. You know how to listen to each other. You can respect each other. You know, that kind of stuff. Not because when we're flooded emotionally, we're going to attack. We're going to defend. We're going to criticize. We're going to get in that stuff. And so it's just a relationship where, calm does not mean absence of conflict.
Okay.
Calm means we know how to deal with stuff in a healthy way. And not that we don't get mad, because sometimes you're going to get mad and you're going to have to recover and forgive and reconcile. But there's not just this ongoing hostility.
So my question is, what does Gottman say? What is his advice, or you, since this is your partner right now?
Mm-hmm. Me and Gottman.
What is your advice to stay in that place of peace, or to make sure you have that place of peace? Where do you go? What do you do? Because, I mean, I agree, but
where do you go?
How do you
keep it? You mean if you can't do it?
How do they achieve that peace?
How do you achieve it?
Is that what you're saying?
You got to have a healthy skill in dealing with conflict. And one, I would say you got to commit to like being positive.
Okay.
Some of it's just an attitude check. Like, let's just take let's make it practical. 5-to-1 positive negative ratio. Mm-hmm. You're in control of that. How often are you appreciating, validating, encouraging, supporting? Mm-hmm. For every one time you need to be critical, negative, address something, have you stacked up 5 positive? That's one easy way to measure. Like, just look at your day, take a journal. How many positive things did I say to my spouse today? Mm-hmm. Most couples, if they're honest, if we had 3 categories, positive, neutral, negative, most couples are neutral, negative.
Right.
Like, with just logistical would be neutral. Mm-hmm. Did you feed the kids? Did you drop the kid off at school? Could you get the laundry? All those are neutral. Like, they ain't positive. They're not building. Right. And then I got to address crap. So it's neutral, address stuff negative. Neutral, where's the positive? I appreciate you doing that. Toya seeing you across the room. Hey, boo, it's a text. I see my man across the room. I see you looking good. Hair's fresh. Face looks good.
Yeah. You check the boxes today, baby. Yeah.
So where's the positive? That's one way to measure. You're in complete control of that atmosphere as far as it pertains to you. Mm-hmm. Then, obviously with conflict resolution, that kind of stuff, that takes 2. So I think if couples are stuck, go get some help, man. Go to a counselor, figure out how to. I've talked to some couples about that, and there's some couples that don't do well there, that are at a place now where if they feel like it's escalating, there's defensiveness, they're not doing well, they'll say, stop, we're going to wait till our next counseling session and we're going to talk about it there. Mm-hmm. Now, is that sustainable forever in life? No, that wouldn't be smart. Yeah. But for a period of time, until the 3 of us can do it together, and then you see, hey, we were able to do it together. Now, next time, let's try that on our own. I think you can teach couples how to better resolve stuff so they can do it on their own. Mm-hmm.
Because God says, give all your anxieties and worries to me, right? And then he will give you that peace. Because I feel like in those situations, because of course, like you said, it needs to happen throughout the whole marriage. And there's going to be times that you can go and, say, hey, was I positive? But it's going to be seasons where you're not going to be thinking about it. But you do always need to go to God and just say, hey, this is what I'm worried about. This is what I'm feeling anxious about. Let me give it to him. He'll give me clarity, because the goal is to be able to look at your husband and love your husband or wife the way that God sees and loves them. But how do you do that? So
you're suggesting that instead of addressing your spouse every time you're anxious about something, maybe pray and wait on it?
No, I'm saying both. Because you do still need to talk to your spouse, but you do also need to know that you can only control you.
Well, I mean, I wasn't criticizing you. I liked where you were going. I thought maybe. I think she's at a place where she's just automatically defensive against me.
I don't know. I don't know how she got that. I thought you were
saying you don't talk to him, but I'm like, no, you still do that too. I was just saying
first, you do that. I'm like, there's a novel idea. Every issue you have does not need to be addressed in the moment, and every time you see something wrong does not need to be a quote teaching moment. Give it to God first, and then. Pray about it, and if it's still sticking on you, then go address it.
And write it down. I like what you said about writing it down. So see, I'm seeing some things here.
So we got church and science are on the same page right now.
A little bit.
All right.
Yeah, we would agree that there's some good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's number 1.
Let's see what else we got.
Number 2 is trust.
Trust.
I mean, know anybody who would argue, I like a dishonest, untrusting relationship. I like to be on edge, not knowing if I can really count on them.
Which is funny.
How stressful.
All right, you answer this question on a female behalf.
Okay.
Females prefer the bad boys. Right? That's what they go for when they're dating and all that.
Because I guess they feel like they want that excitement.
Yeah.
They feel
and then
like
they get married and they're
and
like,
then it's like
I can't
too
trust
much.
you. I mean,
stress will kill you. Stress will kill you.
That's what I'm saying. The people who are attracted to the quote bad boy is usually an attachment issue.
Yeah.
They activate your attachment system, make you feel all these feelings, and it's like, no, those feelings are attached to your insecurity and unsteadiness in a relationship, which makes it quote exciting.
Yeah, totally should have used that as a pickup line.
Yeah,
you want me to excite your attachment issues?
Yeah, you want you want me to activate your attachment system. I'm your guy. Yeah. So here's the reality: trust leads to intimacy. Yeah. Distrust leads to loneliness, isolation. You're going to pull back. There's just a necessary.
Well, I'm going to go with that first one.
Yeah.
The calm, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say if you don't have that, you can't have trust, right? I mean,
no, I think you can have trust. For instance, so I would say trust is not just. Most people when they hear trust, it's like, so you don't lie and you don't cheat on me. Mm-hmm. But I would even say trust, like you can lose trust if a person like doesn't follow through on, they start something, don't finish, they don't keep their word, even little things like you can't
trusting you to make decisions.
You can't count on them. Like, you know, it sucks when you're like, well, I don't even depend on my spouse for that anymore because when I have, they haven't followed through. So I think there's levels of I can trust you to get stuff done, to be faithful, and we still don't have the ability to resolve
So where
conflict.
I was going with that is first marriage, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There was not a trust that I could say, hey, I could be honest in this situation because I didn't trust the emotion that was going to come back at me.
You didn't trust her either willingness or ability to handle, yourself, your vulnerability or whatever you were sharing, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I think mutual trust is necessary when both people are focused on, I want what's best for you.
Right.
Like it's not just about me. And there's a willingness to be honest and open and actually communicate. So when you have that kind of stuff, you have trust.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like it.
And when you don't communicate,
is that what
here's her number 3. She's like, she has her notes at some point during the show say, I like it.
1 John 3, I like it.
I like it a lot. No, I think when sometimes just a lack of communication makes it hard to trust.
Yeah.
Because in the absence of us communicating, we all like create our own narratives.
Yep.
Right.
It's like, well, I don't really know. They're not communicating to me about why they're doing what or why they haven't done what or whatever.
Right.
So in the absence of communication, I'm going to make up my own narrative. And depending on, probably back to physiological calm, depending on the atmosphere of the relationship, I'm either going to create a narrative that's negative, and they can't trust them. They must be doing something shady. I don't know why they, always put their phone face down. Whatever it might be. Or, you believe the best. And so communicate.
Yeah.
You got a Bible verse for that?
Trust in the Lord.
Just a general.
Jesus wept.
Proverbs says, trust in the Lord. Acknowledge him in all your ways. He'll make your path straight.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I guess that's
it for trust.
All right. Commitment, number 3.
All right.
And then I want to come back and here's the real thing. So we throw out these terms, but then the question is, what does that look like to you? Meaning, what helps you trust your spouse? What helps you believe that your spouse is committed? Because we're all different. And there's things that the other person can do that will help these areas. And there's things the other person may do that will erode these areas. And sometimes we don't even know. Like trust, I wouldn't think you don't trust me because I didn't follow through on a project. It's a big deal. I'll get to it sometimes. Right. It's like, that may be eroding trust. So commitment. Obviously, like, do you cherish your partner?
Oh, I'm sorry. go back to trust real quick because I was actually thinking while you were talking.
I always forget when she starts thinking. I have to slow down. So let me.
Because I'm listening, thinking, and then I was like,
three in your
but
head.
I like what you said because for us, I know for me and Ahmad, what something that really helped was that communication, because I think it was something that happened just the other day where we were talking on the phone about something. I can't remember what it was. And I felt like he heard me, but he also kind of used it as an opportunity to kind of preach at me a little bit about something. And I was just thinking, like, at first I was kind of getting frustrated, like, wait, why are you coming to me at that angle, right? But then I knew, because I know him and because I know his heart. So it was just like, but then it was like God reminded me, like, that's not his intention. That's not his heart. But because we've had so much communication and because we've grown so much, I do know his heart. And I was able to really think about that and say, okay, it's really not what it's looking like. So that just goes back to the trust, where I trust that his heart and I know where he was trying to go with it. So I don't know if that came out right, but
no, it does. So you're able to believe the best because you know that generally he has been for you and for your best. And so we don't, because then couples get the other side where it's like, I said something neutral and you took it the wrong way. And it's like, wow, I didn't even say that. So like, what happened? Because you don't have the right environment. Right. Trust.
Right. So anyway, so that came to my mind when you were talking.
I'm glad that even though it was really slow and 5 minutes too late, I'm glad we got back to it because I think it was helpful.
Yeah.
So
so where's that jump? I like it. I like it. Choice number 3. I really like that. I like it a lot.
Number 3.
Commitment. Yeah, it's just... And commitment would go back to, we've been making fun of your whole Ahmad across the room thing. But I think part of commitment is that mentality. Like you cherish the relationship. You're grateful for the other person. Yeah. You're focusing on what you're grateful for. You know, you're in it to win it on these things. And so it's like, commitment builds loyalty, right? It's like, I see you're committed. I see you're here. That's why a lot of couples who threaten divorce or say, I'm not going to stay for this kind of stuff, all the little words that kind of undermine commitment. That's why statistics continue to show, since we're talking about science of love, cohabitating does not produce the good environment for marriage because there's a lack of commitment in cohabitating. Right. Like, I'm with you, but I'm not fully here. Yeah. Like, we're together, but our finances are separate. So that means
the trust is kind of hit a little bit.
Well, and there's a lack of commitment. Yeah. Like, it's like, I'm not fully committed. What's a piece of paper matter? There's a difference in commitment between I'm all in, I'm married, I'm not going anywhere, and like, we're living together. Like, okay, you're enough now. Right. But if you're ever not, or a better option comes, like, I'm just not here. So.
What? I see what you're saying. I see him from across the room, and he do look good. Yes, not bad.
Would you say the hair's right? The face looks good?
Yeah, man, I wish I had his hair.
Clean, clean
It would look funny on you.
Well, I'd kill it.
Do you have a verse?
I like it.
The old...
No.
I like it.
Yeah. Just with commitment. So, I feel, in marriage, right? So God designed it to be 3, him and then husband and wife, right? So that just kind of brought me to, the cord of the 3 strands in Ecclesiastes. So,
I didn't say anything.
I was just laughing at his face.
He was looking at me, I wasn't saying anything.
My thing is, the whole time you are committed to each other, just make sure you keep God in there. Just don't think you can do it on your own. Like, that's it. Just make sure the whole time it's the commitment of you, your husband, your wife, whatever, and Holy Spirit, God. So
what do you think, Jason? Do you think the science of love and the biblical definition of love, do you think those tied together?
I think they tied together. I think you got to be careful with the science a little bit, because science is so. This is the way it is, right?
Yeah, it's a formula. At least we can.
The formulas work.
We can
sometimes.
I think so. Sometimes we can kind of, a path is. So what's more helpful? Hey, here are 3 things that if you prioritize in your relationship will build a solid foundation Or, hey, here's 3 verses out of the Bible that sound good.
Okay.
How do you apply them?
And here's where I'm going with that a little bit is
Finally, you're going somewhere.
Like John Gotti there, Mr. Gotti.
Gottman.
Yeah, Gottman.
I think Gotti was a
No wonder.
mob boss.
He's got some good advice.
Swim with the
You
fishies,
said
bro?
Gotti. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so he's wired all these people up. He's done all this stuff, and it's trust and
Commitment.
and physical.
calm.
Yeah, it's just like be calm, trust them, and commit. I mean, that's
but there's a lot of
you
other
wired
stuff.
people up, and that's all you came up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely. Well, he created a whole approach to relationships around these things that obviously have some practical application.
and
right?
is he saying you got to have all 3 of those? I assume.
He's just saying this is a magic trio. That the 3 of these together, when they're present, seem to create healthy relationships. And obviously there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into commitment. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into trust. Like we talked about, 5-to-1 positive ratio helps with physiological calm. It's also knowing when you're emotionally flooded and not engaging in conflict then. So
I mean, so it sounds like, so if I had to say really, it really sounds like he took some biblical principles there and did some, I mean, I tend slow to anger, slow to speak, that's calm, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
look at him.
Yeah.
got me one.
I like it.
Write that one down.
I
right
like
there.
it. Number 3. I like it. That's good.
Yeah, but so those principles are there. So I'd say they could work together. He just wired people up to figure it out. And, Yeah. Anyway,
and when I'm not doing Science of Love or Bible, you know where I get most of my romantic advice? My playlist.
Oh, your playlist, like
good R&B.
Eminem.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
I find a lot of inspiration for love.
Do you?
On my iPod.
Well, that's.
I thought you were going to say Songs of Solomon.
Oh yeah. The Bible.
There is that.
The Bible.
Yeah. You're right.
I just thought some good
Let's
love
go back
songs.
to Eminem.
I really did think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Sometimes I use it around the house. You know what I mean? Like I look at my wife, like you do with Ahmad across the room, and an old Usher song will come into my head, and I'll say, "You remind me of a girl I once knew."
Oh my goodness.
Nice. You're getting advice, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I have to use that. I have to listen to Usher, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you all the time are quoting some of your favorite rapper friends, like 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. I just got... Of course.
Well, thank you for joining us, and make sure you subscribe and please share this. And if you want to know anything else, just check out Relationshots.
Come on.
Period. It's all there.
Let's go.
It's all there.
Thank you. We out.
Adios.